Hello, everybody, and welcome back to British English Pod with me, Lewis. And this week we have a lovely topic to speak about because I've been speaking about this topic all week in my group classes and private classes because every week we have a different topic that we discuss. And this week it has been all related to music. Yes, everybody likes music, right? Everybody enjoys listening to music, don't they? Of course they do, or at least most people do. So it's been really fun chatting to people, discussing their music tastes, what music they grew up watching and listening to, and what kind of concerts they've been to, and what kind of festivals they've been to. So I've been asking all of my students plenty of questions related to music to improve their speaking skills, learn new expressions, and correct some little mistakes. So, what better topic to discuss in this week's podcast? Music. It's perfect, right? So, first question for you, let me know in the comments, what kind of music are you into? What is your favorite type of music? Because I'll give you a little bit of an introduction. Personally, I'm not that much of a big fan of music. Of course, I enjoy listening to music. I enjoy going to concerts and festivals from time to time. And of course, when you are watching a series or a film, it's nice to have a good soundtrack on. But for some people, music is a really big aspect of their life. It is key in their free time. For me, it's not really the case. Because, yes, I'm into different types of music, different genres, but most of the time, I listen to podcasts instead of music. And that goes to show that for me, music is important, but by no means is it the most important thing. So perhaps I'm a little bit weird in that way. But is it the same for you? Are you absolutely obsessed with music? Or are you a little bit more like me, where you can take it or leave it? That you don't mind listening to music, but it isn't the be all and end all. Nice expression. The be all and end all is another way of saying the most important thing. So in my case, for me, music isn't the be all and end all. I enjoy listening to music, but I'm not that passionate about it. So that is a little introduction. And let me know, where do you stand? Are you obsessed with music, or can you take it or leave it? But it's been really interesting discussing this topic with different people because, of course, this weekend is Eurovision, the Eurovision Song Contest, which, to be honest, I never really used to like. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And I haven't really changed my mind in that. It continues to be absolutely ridiculous. Some of the groups, the bands, the artists, the shows they put on, they can be a little bit cringy, where you think, oh no, this is awful. This is terrible. Why are they singing that? Why are they dancing like that? What are they wearing? They look ridiculous. But in recent years, I've started to get into it. My girlfriend enjoys watching Eurovision, and some of her friends are really into it as well, especially because here in Brussels, we have a very international friendship group. So we have people from Spain, Italy, France, Belgium, Romania, also Poland. There are lots of people from all over the world. So it's interesting to be able to, for example, watch Eurovision together and have some drinks at the same time and basically laugh at some of the performances because some of them are great, but others are ridiculously bad. But anyway, let me know. Are you into Eurovision? Do you normally watch Eurovision? And are you going to be watching Eurovision tomorrow night? I don't think I will be, but just because I have a wedding in Seville this weekend, yes, another wedding. So, literally, as this podcast is being released, I'm going to be finishing work and then heading to the airport to go to Seville and have a good time at the wedding. But if I wasn't going to the wedding, for sure, I'd probably watch Eurovision and I'd be cheering on my country, be like, come on, UK, let's go United Kingdom. But usually, the UK, we're not very good when it comes to Eurovision. We have a fantastic music history. Of course, the Beatles are British, they're from Liverpool. Oasis are British, they're from Manchester. From my city, we have the Kaiser Chiefs, which is indie rock, more or less. But there are so many amazing bands, groups, and artists that are from the UK. So we should be so much better at Eurovision. But maybe in the past we didn't take it very seriously. Perhaps this is changing because we won Eurovision 3 years ago or something like that. So maybe we'll be lucky. Maybe we'll do well this weekend, but I doubt it. I can't really see it happening, to be honest. But yeah, that is Eurovision. And from there, I'm going to teach you some music idioms. So, on the private WhatsApp community that I have with my students, I often share different expressions, different audio messages. I encourage discussion as well. And yesterday, I was sharing some music idioms. So now I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some different music idioms, just 5 of them, because I've chosen the 5 that I believe to be the most common. And the first one is to face the music. If you face the music, basically, you face the consequences. You accept the consequences of your actions. For example, he didn't study, so now he has to face the music and retake the exam. Also, if, let's say, you cheat on your partner and then they find out, they catch you red-handed, you're going to have to face the music. You're going to have to confront the consequences. So, expression number 1 is to face the music. Now, let me scroll down to another one, which I really like, and it's a very British expression. It is to blow your own trumpet. If you're blowing your own trumpet, basically, you're showing off. You are boasting. You're bragging. You're talking about all the things that you do well. For example, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I really nailed that presentation. And remember, to nail something is to do it really well. And it's common to use this phrase like in this way. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but... And then you say something you're good at. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'm a really good teacher. Or, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I ran a marathon in 3 hours and 20 minutes last year. But I don't want to blow my own trumpet, of course. So that is expression number 2. To blow your own trumpet is to show off or to brag or to boast. How about we move on to number 3? And this one, for example, is basically the same in Spanish. Let me know if it's the same in your language as well. It is music to my ears, or often that is music to my ears. And this is something that you are pleased to hear. If somebody tells you good news or something that you want to hear, you might say, oh, that is music to my ears. For example, when she said I got the job, it was music to my ears. When my friend told me that he was going to give me £1,000, it was music to my ears. Ha! Amazing. Okay, that is the third. Now let's move on to the fourth expression. And it is to change your tune. If you change your tune, you change your opinion or your attitude. Before you were saying one thing, and then you changed your tune, and now you're saying something else. For example, he used to hate pop music, but now he's changed his tune. I didn't want to go out on Friday night, but then a couple of hours later, I was saying, actually, should we go and have a few beers? And then my girlfriend said, Lewis, you've changed your tune. So that is a nice way of using the expression to change your tune, which is to change your opinion or your attitude. And the final music expression is to strike a chord with someone. And this is to resonate emotionally or feel relatable. A bit confusing, but for example, if something strikes a chord with you, it affects you emotionally. It has an impact on you emotionally. For example, that film really struck a chord with me. It reminded me of my childhood. I could also say, what you said the other day really struck a chord with me. I had never thought of it in that way, but now you really opened my eyes to this possibility. It struck a chord with me. So that is the fifth and final expression for now. Let me know. Do you know any other music expressions? Because there are quite a few more, but I just chose the 5 that I consider to be the most useful or the ones that I think are the most common. Because whenever you're looking up different expressions on Google or ChatGPT, some of them will be natural and commonly used, and others are just not that useful, or they're a bit outdated or old fashioned. And this can happen quite a lot. And that's when you have to have an expert or a native English teacher to be able to tell the difference between what you're finding online, if it's useful and relevant, and the other stuff that can be a bit rubbish. Because on the internet, you have all sorts of information. So what will set you apart is if you're able to differentiate and think, okay, that's common, I'm going to use that expression, or that's not common, I'm not going to use that one. But these 5 music expressions, all of them are pretty common. So I'd recommend giving them a go and using them. Now, moving on from there, I also have lots of little conversational questions, and I'm going to answer them. The first question is, what kind of music do you enjoy the most? Well, as I said earlier, I'm not that into my music, but of course I do like listening to music. The music that I'm most into, I think, is probably rock or indie rock. Some examples of artists or groups might be the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think are awesome. For British indie, I think Arctic Monkeys are fantastic, but I also love more old-fashioned bands such as the Beatles, Oasis, this kind of stuff. So there are lots and lots of different bands that I like, but I think my favorite is usually rock or indie rock. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. But to be honest, I've had different phases of being into different types of music. So when I was growing up, to be honest, my mum and dad aren't that into music. So they didn't really show me or encourage me to play any musical instruments. At least my mum doesn't care about it at all, to be honest. My dad, it's true that he is more into music, but during my childhood, I don't remember him being pushy with music. He didn't try to force me to like it. Because sometimes now my dad will be at home watching live concerts or festivals of like heavy rock from the 60s or the 70s. But when I was younger, I don't remember him being that into it. Maybe it's changed and now he's more or less retired. He has more time to watch this kind of stuff. But my parents never really uh, pushed music on me, and they never really forced me to learn any musical instruments. Um, so I think my sister, who is 3 years older than me, her music taste influenced me a little bit more because at this time, growing up in the 90s and the noughties, a lot of the music that we were exposed to was on music channels. So you'd watch different music channels to watch music videos of MTV, Kiss, Rock FM, all of these things. And that's how you'd be exposed to music. And at the time, she kind of liked R&B and she liked rap as well. But the band that she liked the most was the Spice Girls, which, of course, the Spice Girls, they're a classic, you know? Baby Spice, Sporty Spice, Posh Spice, Ginger Spice. Who am I missing? There's one more. Let me know if you know which Spice Girl I'm missing. But my sister really liked the Spice Girls, so I started listening to the Spice Girls as well. And, you know, they have some catchy songs like Tell you what I want, I really, really want to tell you what I want, I really, really want to ha 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 da 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 want to be da 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 da. You can see very clearly that I'm not a very good singer. And one of my big weaknesses is that I never remember the lyrics. So if I listen to a song, then I'll be able to kind of hum and murmur the song, like, but I can't really remember a lot of the lyrics. So then for me to repeat a song and sing it out loud, it's almost impossible. So that was my rendition of one of the Spice Girls songs. But my sister, she liked R&B, she liked rap. So as a result, I started listening to a lot of R&B and rap from the United States and a little bit of everything. And I went through this rap phase where I liked lots of different rappers, Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, 50 Cent, uh, The Game, Jay-Z, P. Diddy, who, of course, they have had their controversies in recent times. But this is the kind of music that I liked between, let's say, 11 and 14 years old. And then from there, I think my mates started to have an impact on the type of music I was listening to because a lot of my friends were listening to a lot of rock and indie. So me hanging out with these friends meant that I started to enjoy it. Their music taste started to rub off on mine, and I became a fan of these bands. Other bands that I liked, of course, were uh, Linkin Park, what else? There are so many, but Linkin Park, Good Charlotte, and lots of different bands. I don't know. I'm terrible at remembering this stuff because usually the way that I listen to music is on random playlists or other people putting on the music. I rarely actually chose the music that I was listening to because that involved a lot of thinking. So I preferred to just put on a playlist or an album of the top 40 or something similar, and that way I could listen to the music. But this was my most influential phase of listening to music, and it was with rock and indie rock. And I had friends who played in a band at the time, and they played the guitar, or they played the bass, or they played the drums. And for me, the only thing that I was able to play was, well, the triangle. Ding! Ding! So that goes to show how bad I was at playing musical instruments. But I didn't really try properly. The only musical instrument that I really tried was the flute, because it was compulsory, mandatory, obligatory that everybody had to try and test one musical instrument at primary school. And usually, if people know their music, they will learn to play the guitar, or maybe the piano, for example, or the drums. But because I didn't care, and I wanted the easiest option or the cheapest option, I started playing the flute. But I didn't enjoy it at all. It was so complicated to read like the music notes and to be able to get your fingers around the flute and then have the right coordination to play different sounds. It was horrible. It's just not my strong suit at all. Me and music, we don't really get along in many ways. So I tried to learn to play the flute and I failed and I gave up. So after, I think, 1 year, I packed it in. To pack something in is to give up, to throw in the towel. And I was like, nope, I'm sorry. This is not for me. I'm not made for being a musician. Not my thing at all. So that is my musical history, I could say. Now, let me discuss some other questions, because I've got a list. I'll share my screen again, and I'm going to answer some of these questions. And one question is, do you think music can influence your mood? Why or why not? Well, I'd say yes, music can 100% influence your mood, because if you want to go out on a night out and you want to have a good time, you want to have some lively music. Nowadays, a lot of people will listen to techno music, or maybe they'll listen to reggaeton music, or just pop music. And this is what can kind of cheer you up and get you up for a night out. Whereas on the other hand, if you're listening to very slow music, very sad music, well, you just want to stay at home and chill out and maybe cry a little bit. And then there are other kinds of music that can help you to focus. Some people find that classical music will help them to concentrate, whereas other people just want to listen to some kind of like drum and bass to get in the zone without any lyrics or vocals, and that can help them to focus. So, in response to the question, yes, music does influence your mood, and I think it can work in different ways, because it can make you excited and in the mood to party, or it can also make you a little bit nostalgic and sad. So it can influence you 100%. Now, related to that, can you concentrate while listening to music? Personally, I think I can, but I don't think I can concentrate as well as if I wasn't listening to anything. As I mentioned, I tend to listen to more podcasts than songs and albums and playlists, but I think I can concentrate if I have some music on in the background. And let's say I need to make some changes to my website, or I need to write some newsletters, or I need to think of ideas for different videos, then I don't mind listening to music at the same time. I think it can help because it makes what would maybe otherwise be a boring activity, it makes it more interesting. So then you're more likely to continue doing this activity for a longer period of time. I know there are some people that can't concentrate when listening to music, and they're probably right. that you can always concentrate more if you don't have any distractions. But I do think it depends a lot on the type of music you listen to. If there is a lot of rapping or a lot of lyrics and you have to focus on what they are saying, then you're not going to concentrate on the task at hand. But if it's more background music, kind of instrumentals without vocals, I believe it could help. Why not? Now, returning to this question, how important is music in your life? And I want to know, how important is music in your life? Let me know in the comments. For me, I could live without music. I think it's very important. I like listening to music, but to be honest, because I don't usually sing and I don't usually dance, I could probably make do with podcasts in many cases. Of course, when you have parties and celebrations, you want to have music on. A party without music is much less fun. Absolutely. But could I survive without music? Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure there are other people who couldn't. So for me, music is important, but not that important. Overall, I'd say it's like a 5 out of 10. Going back to an expression I used earlier, I can take it or leave it. So I don't mind if I haven't got music on. But yeah, let me know about you. And next question. Who is your favorite singer or band and why? Now, I mentioned a few bands, the Beatles, Oasis, Arctic Monkeys earlier, and these are definitely among my favorites for sure. But one I didn't mention is it's a singer and a band that they had a biopic film released like 5 years ago, and I'm wearing a mustache today. I've just had a shower and I've just shaved. I'll probably shave off my mustache, but who do I look like? If you're watching this, who do I look like? Some people will say I look a little bit like Freddie Mercury when I have a mustache. Personally, I disagree, but some people will say it when I have a mustache, and I never really grow my mustache for a long time, but I don't mind it. And one band that I could listen to over and over again is Queen. Queen have some absolute bangers, some absolute tunes. A banger or a tune is a nice colloquial way of saying a great song. So Queen have some absolute bangers. So maybe I would say that Queen is my favorite band. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's hard to choose just one. But among the type of music and the bands that I've mentioned, Queen would be one of my faves, one of my favorites. Because yeah, don't stop me now, 'cause I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. And on that note, to have a ball, this is a lovely expression. If you have a ball, you have a great time. I'm having a ball. You could also say, I'm having a blast. I'm having a blast, or I'm having a ball. Good. Next question. Do you play any instruments? If not, would you like to? As I mentioned, I don't play the triangle. I tried the flute and I gave up. I threw in the towel. I packed it in. But I do like the idea of playing a musical instrument. I would love to be able to play the guitar or the piano. I think this would be a dream. And it's such an amazing talent to have. Let's say you're by the beach, you've got a campfire, somebody brings out a guitar, you start playing, everybody's happy. It is a game changer and a mood changer because it changes the mood completely. So I wish I could play the guitar or the piano. But I know that learning a language and learning a musical instrument require a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work. And that means a lot of time. So you do have to prioritize what's the most important for you. Because for me, the most important thing isn't being able to play a musical instrument. If it is for you, you take time out of your routine in order to study and practice. The same thing with learning a language or improving a language. If it is very important, if it's a priority, then of course you're going to allocate some time to doing that. I do not have an extra hour every day to practice learning how to play the guitar. And it would take months, maybe years, to get to a decent level. So for me, it's just not going to happen. Maybe my priorities will change in the future, but I don't play any instruments, and I don't really see myself starting to play any instruments in the near future. It is what it is, I suppose. Now, moving on to the next question. Do you prefer live concerts or listening to recordings? Well, of course, I listen to music on my phone. I use Spotify, and I think Spotify is a pretty good investment, to be honest. I'm on a family plan with my girlfriend's family because there's 4 of them in the family. And I think the family plan allows up to 5 people, and you pay like 15 euros a month or something similar. Maybe I'm making it up. I'm not sure. Basically, I don't pay for my Spotify. Cha-ching! My in-laws pay for my Spotify. So thank you. Thank you very much. But regardless of that, I believe that Spotify is a good investment. It's cheap and you can use it to listen to music and to listen to podcasts ad-free without adverts. If, of course, you only use the free version, it's still great, but you can't make your own playlists and you can't listen ad-free, so the experience isn't as good. So I think it's worth paying a little bit of money to improve the user experience. But I enjoy doing that because I like listening to music when I go for a walk, when I go running, when I'm driving, when I'm in the gym, or maybe when I'm doing some housework as well. These are moments when I would either listen to a podcast or I'd listen to music. And I think this is good. But live concerts and live gigs, a gig is a nice informal way of saying a concert. It's true that it's an experience and it's a much nicer way of consuming the music. Like if you go to a bar or a pub and they've got live music on, it's so much better and it's a social plan. And it's nice to go out with your friends or your family and go to watch an artist or a band. I think this is lovely. And it sounds better because you can see them there. And you connect more with the artist and it makes it much more memorable. But, and this is a big but, nowadays the music industry has gone a little bit crazy. Or perhaps it is the people who are going crazy. Because I don't know if you remember, but 1 year ago, I think, Taylor Swift, she was doing her world tour around Europe, America, Asia, all over the world. And people were paying like 500 euros for a ticket. And then they were queuing up like a day before, and people were even wearing nappies so that they wouldn't have to go to the toilet in the middle of the concert. A nappy, by the way, is what babies wear when they're not trained to go to the toilet. In British English, we say a nappy. In American English, they say a diaper. But this is crazy to me. It's absolutely mental. Like, I don't understand how people are willing to spend so much money just for a couple of hours of a concert with thousands of other people as well. So you're not even going to be close to the singers. In all likelihood, you're going to be very far away. Of course, it's a nice performance. You'll have lots of music, lots of lights. You'll have some great memories, and it's a really fun thing to do. But I believe that things are getting a little bit out of hand. To get out of hand is to become out of control. So these mega artists doing world tours and selling tickets for 200 or 300 or 400 euros and having to wait so long to get the tickets, I can't get my head around it. I can't comprehend it. I can't understand how and why people are willing to do this. Literally just the day before yesterday, my girlfriend was trying to get tickets to go to see Bad Bunny. And Bad Bunny, of course, is very famous. Lots of people like his music. His most recent album was pretty good. But her and her friends were on their phones all day in the virtual queue to try to get tickets for 300 euros in Madrid. In the end, they were unsuccessful. They didn't manage to do it. But you've got people paying so much money, 300 euros, and they're not even going to be close to the stage. It's ridiculous. 300 euros is enough for a weekend away almost. So maybe I'm a little bit grumpy and a little bit stingy and tight-fisted, but I just don't understand why people would spend so much money when, for example, you can go to a festival for 200 euros, for example, and that gives you access to see 20 different bands or groups or artists, maybe over a few days as well. And the atmosphere and the vibe, I think, is so much nicer at a festival as well. So comparing these world tours and live concerts with a festival, it's a no-brainer. Festivals are a much better investment, and I think they're much more fun as well. So, rant over. That's what I think about it. Now, karaoke. How do you feel about karaoke and singing in front of an audience? Again, like Eurovision, I used to be very against karaoke. Maybe I was afraid of singing in public. That was probably the case. I was embarrassed to make a fool out of myself. But I don't know if you agree with me, but in the last decade, I've cared less and less about what people think about me. When I was a teenager and when I was at university, I was worried about people judging me. I wanted to be cool. I wanted people to like me. So I didn't want to make a fool out of myself. I didn't want to act weird, stupid, goofy, wacky, because I was a bit nervous and anxious about what people would think of me. But usually as you get older, you realize what really matters and realize what really is important. And that's your family and your friends and your own happiness with yourself. And you, well, don't care about randomers anymore. You don't care about strangers anymore. You don't mind if they're going to judge you or not. So, in the last few years, I've started to like karaoke. I've started to enjoy karaoke. And that's coming from someone who is not a good singer at all. You heard me singing Spice Girls earlier. So today, in 2025, it is 2025, right? Yeah, it is. I actually enjoy karaoke. I think it's fun, as long as I'm not singing with other people who are really good at singing. Because if you have like a professional singer or somebody who's really good, and then it's your turn to get up on stage and grab the mic and start singing, oh, now this can be embarrassing because the drop in quality is stark. It's very, very clear. But again, I don't really give a shit. I don't really care anymore. And I enjoy feeling like I am a famous singer for a few moments and I sing my heart out. And my go to karaoke song is probably Mr. Brightside by The Killers. Da 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 da. I'm not going to sing it now, but if you ever see me in a karaoke bar, I'll probably be singing Mr. Brightside. But are you a fan of karaoke? And if so, tell me, what kind of songs do you sing when you go to a karaoke bar? Another great one is Queen. Any kind of Queen song is always an absolute crowd pleaser. If people in a karaoke bar hear that somebody else is singing Queen, you're going to have everybody behind you because everybody knows the lyrics off by heart, 100%. Now, I have some little debates and discussions related to music that I've been talking about with my students in my classes this week. Remember, if you would like to sign up to my classes, there is a link in the video description. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email as well, lewis@englishwithlewis.com, and I can help to respond to any of the doubts that you might have. But I'd like to finish off by speaking about how you can improve your English or other language skills by listening to music. Because, yes, I'm not that big on music. I'm not a die-hard music fan. But music has always been a big part of language learning for me. I might say sometimes that I don't really read a lot of novels or biographies, and this is one of my downsides, I suppose, of learning a language because I don't really enjoy reading. But with music, I do enjoy listening to music as a way of immersing myself in a different language and learning some cultural differences and quirks, interesting things. So when I moved to Sevilla, to Seville in Andalusia in the south of Spain, I started to only listen to music in Spanish. And I don't really like reggaeton music. I'm not really into it. It's not my vibe. But I discovered that I enjoyed some Spanish rock and I enjoyed some Spanish fusion flamenco music. So instead of listening to the music I listened to before in English, I switched this habit into Spanish. And this, whether it's for music or anything else, is a really good piece of advice. What you want to do to immerse yourself in English or any other language you are learning is the things that you used to do in your mother tongue, you need to switch them to the language you're learning. So in my case, instead of listening to music in English, I started listening to music in Spanish. So I became a fan of Spanish flamenco music. And I went to a few different concerts as well. So then that like solidifies your connection with this genre. And I think this helped me a lot to improve my pronunciation. My vocabulary as well, but pronunciation in particular. You will notice that people who are really into music and people who actually sing alongside the music, usually their pronunciation is a little bit better because I think there are a lot of transferable skills between being a musician and being a language learner. The same as being an actor and a language learner. Because at the end of the day, you are copying and imitating and trying to impersonate the way that other people speak, or in this case, sing. So that is a good reason for you to listen to music in English. And when you're doing so, of course, you can use Spotify, and with Spotify, you can read the lyrics at the same time. Let me show you. If, for example, I'm listening to Oasis, then you scroll down on Spotify and you can see all of the lyrics. And you can see as the lyrics are being sung. So then they will change color, and you can try to sing at the same time and copy how they sing. This is going to do a world of good. It's going to help improve your language skills so much. But another tip I'd like to give is an application and a website that, unfortunately, I'm not promoting them and being paid for it. I wish they paid me, but at the moment, I'm just promoting it because I enjoy it. And it is Lingo Clip. This is what the application looks like, and you can learn many languages using the same application. And it's completely free. So the name of the app is Lingo Clip, and there is also a website where you can learn on your laptop. So let me show you. Here, for example, is Lingo Clip that you can download on the App Store. It's free. There is, yes, a paid version, but you don't really need it. And here I can go to Lyrics Training, which is the website. And let's say here you are learning English. Then all you've got to do is choose a song, and you can search for songs as well. But for example, let's choose, decisions. Let's choose this one with Bruno Mars. From there, once you've chosen a song, you can select a game mode. It could be beginner, 10% of the words you have to fill in, intermediate, 25%, or advanced, 50%. Let's go for intermediate. And we click it, and you have the YouTube music video.
Ben je op zoek naar een tweedehands auto?
Yeah,
Auto Hero heeft de beste deals voor jou.
Adverts in Dutch, because, of course, I live in Belgium. But I'm going to skip that advert. And you start listening to the music song. At the same time, you need to fill in the gaps. So that is a little bit of a look at it. Personally, it works a lot better on the application, so you can do it from the comfort of your own phone. As I said, this is Lingo Clip, and I believe that on the paid version, you can listen to unlimited songs, and on the free version, it allows you to listen to 3 different songs per day. Which, as I said on my last YouTube video, it's better to study little and often, rather than do loads in one day and not study again for a week. So my advice is to download Lingo Clip, try to listen to 1, 2, or 3 songs per day, and you can try to copy how they speak and how they sing, and you'll become an expert in memorizing lyrics. So let me know. If you've already tried out Lingo Clip or Lyrics Training and you like it, tell me in the comments. And as I said earlier, if you would like to speak to me and other people about different topics every single week, you can sign up to my classes in the link in the description. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast of me speaking all about music expressions, about karaoke concerts, and the craze of people spending so much money to go to see their favorite artist. But for me, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye-bye!